Now, over 83,000 healthcare workers have been vaccinated across the country so far. Government says it's used up the entire first batch of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 jabs, exceeding its target of 2 weeks. The Milpark Hospital in Johannesburg began its vaccination program this week. My colleague, eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu, is there now to give us the latest. Manqoba, very good morning to you. The private facilities have now coming on board as of today in the second round of inoculations. Tell us more. What can we expect?
Well, certainly, Pratana, we do understand that two of the private facilities here in Gauteng have now come on board in terms of administering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. You recall, Pratana, when this process started on the 17th of February, there were two sites that had been identified, which was the Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital as well as the Steve Biko Academic Hospital. But the Premier of the Gauteng province announcing that an additional two public facilities will also be added onto the list of vaccination sites in the province. And we did see the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital as well as the Dr. George Mukhari Academic Hospital opening their doors in the past 2 days. So all in all, Patan, we do know that there are now 6 vaccination sites here in Gauteng that will be administering this vaccine. And the Premier is saying that they are quite hopeful that they will reach a number of those healthcare workers. So far, we do know that over 18,000 of those healthcare workers have been inoculated here in the province. And the target that the province has set, Patan, is that they want to vaccinate over 215,000 of them by the end of this first phase. But let's take a listen to what the Premier had to say about the province's state of readiness.
The private healthcare facility, Milpark, is joining in, and Milpark is going to be working with Helen Joseph and Rahima Musa, which are public hospitals as well. The key thing for us is to reach these 215,000 healthcare workers in Gauteng. To reach them as swiftly as possible. We are happy. The President has announced that we will be getting additional vaccines, 11 million from J&J during the second quarter. And the mood on the ground, the sense I get is that people have really gone beyond the reluctance and any doubt about the vaccine.
Now, Manqoba, this morning, what do we know about all the other provinces? I mean, in terms of the rollout plans, are they adding more sites now as well?
Well, certainly, Braden, what we do know so far is that an additional 32 vaccination sites have been added to the list of sites across the country, and this includes both public as well as private facilities. And that's according to a statement that was issued by the Health Department on Tuesday. You'll recall that, but then when this clinical trial started on the 17th of February, there were only 17 sites that have been identified to administer this vaccine. But the department saying that the number has now increased to 49. And so far we know that Gauteng will be receiving 18,400 doses of the vaccine. And the first batch will be a total of 8,520, which will be delivered at the sites this week. Another 9,520, we've been told, will be delivered on the 8th of March. And these will be allocated to the 4 public hospitals as well as the 2 private facilities that have now come on board. But in terms of the Free State, we do understand that the Free State will also be launching an additional vaccine sites, which include the Fezi Ngubentoni Provincial Hospital in Sasolburg, as well as the Bongani Hospital in Welkom and the Rose Park Hospital in Bloemfontein. While the Eastern Cape, we understand, will be opening another additional site at the Freire Hospital in East London. But in addition to that, we have been told that 2 private hospitals in East London as well as Gqeberha will also be starting their rollouts this week. And the Western Cape, saying that they will be adding private facilities as well, which include areas like George, Worcester, as well as Paul. And these facilities, will be receiving quite a sizable amount of the 13,000 doses that have been earmarked for this province. And finally, the Northwest Province saying that they'll also be adding 3 additional sites, which include the Moses Kotane as well as Life private hospital, which is in Mafikeng. And in addition to that, there will also be the Mahikeng Hospital, which is coming on board. But, President, we did speak to the Medical Research Council, which is conducting this study yesterday, and they're quite confident that they will be able to vaccinate a record number of healthcare workers by the first phase, or by the end of this first phase. Take a listen to what they had to say.
Our target was to use 40,000 doses per week, every week, and we have actually achieved that target. So we are just onto the third week, almost. The third week starts today, and we're already on 75,000 doses, or 75,000 health workers vaccinated as of yesterday. So we really are on track with the targets that we have set.
Okay, thank you very much, Manqoba Mchunu. They're outside the Milpark Hospital as we begin to get a sense of how private facilities themselves are rolling out the COVID-19 Johnson & Johnson vaccine.